Communication is a two-way activity. This is a story of a farmer who was living in a village where, he felt that he was not doing as well as he wished he could. And he also came to know that the village, which was just nearby, people were really prospering there. So he thought, why not try my luck there? Thinking like this, he shifted to that village. The first thing he did was he bought a small plot of land and he built a small house for himself and his family. Once they had settled in with their things and everything, they realized that, oh my God, one thing which is really missing in this village is the water connection. There is no water connection. And how are we going to exist without water? This was a big question mark in their mind. The man said, don't worry, I will talk to the Sarpanch tomorrow. The next morning, the first thing he did was he went to the Sarpanch and he said, sir, this is such a wonderful village. Everyone seems to be so happy, but I'm really perplexed that what do they do about water? There is no water connection. The Sarpanch smiled. He said, see, we are a self-sufficient village. We take care of our needs ourselves. We do not depend on others. So he said, but water, what will I do about water? He said, all you have to do is, what we all do, we dig a well in our own compound. Each house has its own well, so they are not dependent on somebody else to provide them with how much water they need. They can draw as much water as they want, and that's why everybody is so happy. He said, dig a well. Is it a joke? He said, no, it's very easy. The water table in this village is very high. You have to dig just 100 feet and you will strike water. He said, 100 feet? How am I going to dig 100 feet? He said, come on, man. You are a farmer, a hard-working farmer. And all you have to do is dig 10 feet per day. And within 10 days, you will complete your 100 feet and you will hit water. So what is the big deal? Come on, go and do it. He got convinced. He said, yeah, 10 feet per day, I can manage. So he went and explained the whole thing to his family. And from the next day, early in the morning, right at sunrise, he would get up and with a lot of enthusiasm, he would start digging. And he kept on digging that hard soil till he reached his 10 feet. Till sunset, he was digging. Second day, the same thing. In this way, 10 days passed and he had completed his 10 feet every day. He had completed his 100 feet. He was very happy. But then he realized at the end of it that there was not a single drop of water. Now he was truly upset. He said, what rubbish. I am an illiterate farmer. But that Sarpanch, I gave him so much respect. I believed in what he said. And he fooled me. He made me work for 10 days digging 10 feet per day. And at the end, what is the result? Zero. Not a drop of water. How can they do this to me? I am a newcomer here. This is very wrong. He was so sad. He went to the Sarpanch and said, sir, I'm really disappointed with what you have done to me. He said, what have I done? He said, did you not ask me to dig 10 feet per day for 10 days? He said, yes, I did. So he said, I did that. But do you know what? There's not a single drop of water in that hole. He said, how can it be possible? He said, no, do you think I'm lying? You come with me and you better check. He said, of course, I will have to come and check. This has never happened. How can this happen? It is not possible. We have water at 100 feet. He said, you come with me. Let's not talk. You see. The Sarpanch came along. When they came, they entered his boundary, the plot of land where he had started digging. He said, now you see what I have done. He said, yeah, that's what I'm seeing. So he said, see, 10 feet every day. Can you count the 10 holes? The Sarpanch just looked at him and he said, you made 10 holes. He said, what else? That is exactly what you had asked me to do. You said 10 feet, I have to make a hole, and 10 feet every day. That's what I have done. The Sarpanch hit his head. He said, I really could not believe that you would misunderstand my instruction to this extent. I had asked you to dig 100 feet at one place. Had you done that, water would be gushing right now. The man also understood his mistake. They both looked at each other, and he knew he had to start all over again. Well, friends, this is a story. I mean, you and I are not farmers. We are not going to dig wells or search for water. So what does this story have to do with us? What does it teach us? Is there anything that we can learn from this? Think over it. What does it say to you? Well, if I were to interpret what this story says to me is, I would once again say that communication is a two-way activity. It pays to cross-check once an instruction is given to you. But it is not just your responsibility. It is the responsibility of the other person also. He should make sure that how is he giving his instruction. See, we are living in this corporate jungle. We have to interact with so many people around us, sometimes with family members, with friends, with colleagues. And what is communication? Give and take. Somebody tells you something, you listen, you do it. You say something, the other person does it. So, when you are at work, you may get some instructions from your seniors, but it is your duty to once again cross-check that have I understood properly? Is this what you want me to do? But it is also the responsibility of the other person just to ask you politely that can you just repeat what you have understood so that I'll make sure I've not, missed something and I've given you the complete information. And when you both cross-check with each other, you remain on the same page and you don't waste your precious time, energy, sometimes money, and at the end of it not get scolded by the other person and be called a fool. So this is a very, very important tip for effective communication. Effective communication means putting across your viewpoint in a way that the other person can follow, and it is also the responsibility of the person taking the instruction to ask that have I understood correctly? Friends, this is my take. Your take could be totally different and you're free to do that. So think over it. So friends, don't forget to like, share, comment and subscribe. But the condition is your comment should be your perspective, your take of what you will implement from this story. And for that, listen, interpret, adapt and grow. Thank you. A little about the Institute, about us. The name of my institute is Mrs. Surabhi Banerjee's Spoken English Classes, established in 1980. And the name of our training program is Enhance Your English. We have classes both online as well as offline. And our client list comprises of professionals, entrepreneurs, students, homemakers, and people from all walks of life. For so many years, for this last 45 years that I have been working as a communication coach in my institute, I have trained people from different walks of life, and they have all blossomed into the real person that they wish to be. So if you wish to enhance your English or your communication skills, not just English, please feel free to contact us. The contact number is given below. Thank you.